Okay, it looks like I'm live testing. Let's see, what is it doing? Okay, it looks like I'm live testing. Alright, here we go. I'm just testing a stream tonight. I'm not doing a gaming stream because, well, I had the ugliest crash on this computer. I explained that in another video, but there was more things that happened other than Windows trying to update while while the modem died. Also, my son had done multiple installations of Eve on my boot drive and things, and I was not aware of this. So it was like a 120 something gig SSD drive from my boot, and it filled up and just killed the entire computer. So I'm on a bigger SSD now for my boot system, and I had to reinstall a lot of stuff. Minecraft is still not working very well. I mean, it's working, and I can tell from this I'll be able to stream that hopefully tomorrow, do a session. And I'm going to try to figure out hosting. Deconverted Man and I still won't be able to be on the, I won't be able to get him to come and be in the Minecraft world at the same time I am, because for some reason Windows is not allowing it to access ports out at all. The survival world I've been on with Paranor and stuff is, I can't get on it, and I've given up. But other things I will be able to do, and I recovered Witherdrift, and recovered Dragon Coast, and I recovered my save of Deconverted Man's Talisman World, so I'll be happy with that too. But what I decided to do today was we're going to play with a little bit of stuff. As some of you know, do a lot of different crafting things. Gotta remember my camera's over there. So I have a tendency to mix leather and lace a lot. And this is a bondage color that was requested by somebody, and they haven't contacted me back, but I had fun making it anyway, so I really don't care. If they still want it, then they'll get a hold of me. But this is, you can see the texture if I angle the camera just a little bit here, or angle the piece. This is goat hide or goat leather. It's textured. It's very thin, so I had to do a lot of sewing and backing with it. And I mix things with laces and beads, and everything is recycled. This glass brooch is probably from the 70s, and I found it for a really decent price. And let me get that into the camera so you can see it. I have a really cheap webcam, so if anybody wants to invest on sending me a really good webcam, yay! Least of my priorities. But yeah, and then this is what I do, and then these get lined in the back with knitted cotton, just for softness. But today, what we're messing with is not this. I am doing an added piece for this book that I've been working on here. This is for a friend of mine. She already knows about it, but it's a Christmas gift. And all the materials, again, are recycled or thrifted. So I have cotton laces on here. I have got appliques from a store that does a lot of recycling of fabrics, which I really like. Same thing with the brocade down the center. The burlap technically could be considered not recycled, but it is kind of, because I bought a bunch of it from my wedding book, and I have a whole bunch of it left over. So I just keep using it in other projects, and this burlap was covered with lace, and I found this at Walmart in their wedding section. So I bought a roll, and that roll has been lasting me a good long time. Well worth it. And you can see I have the waxed cotton in here to be able to tie the, God, now what do they call them again? I never remember. The sections of pages. I remember the word and then I forget it again. I swear. So part of the intention was on this book is to leave this edge rough and then to have the top and bottom be this other cotton lace that's in here. And once the pages are in, this will sit down a little bit better. Actually, yeah, this will be the top because here's the bookmark. The bookmark is recycled fabric from saris. From when they make saris in India, they have a lot of leftover fabric, so they'll stitch it together and sell it as bulk ribbon. And for like $9, it's like 30 some yards of this ribbon, and it's all different colors, and it's all silk. Some are fuzzy, some are not, and you guys will see that because that's what we're going to play with today. I will be making a bead to go on the end of this ribbon just because. I may have to cut this a little shorter, it is very long, but I'm going to use different colored silks to make a bead. And then once all the glue and everything's dry on the bead, then later on I will stitch it to this, and then I just have to cut the paper and add the pages. And this is going to have mulberry paper and rice paper, and then I'm also going to be cutting pages from one of my sketchbooks so she can draw in there and, or write, because I've got some very good sketchbooks. And then 100% cotton printing paper as well. I like fancy papers, and cotton will last for hundreds of years. So, and this is all sewn and glued. Same thing with the collar. Everything is sewn and glued. I do not just glue. I use the glue as a reinforcement, not as the primary method. Everything else is stitched in. And these are just recycled buttons here. You know, the multiple kinds of lace. This is folded lace along this edge, and that's stitched down. Yeah, so there is a lot here. There's 2 layers of lace that I sewed on the edge of the brocade. And the beads actually were on the brocade, and since they were already stitched in, I glued them in from the back just to make sure that they don't pop off. So, this book, that's what we're doing. Oh, and I thought I'd show you kind of a base of another collar that I'm doing. This is what they tend to look like before they're lined. This one here, though, I did a lot of, that's just stray silk. I did a lot of beads along the edge of this one, just like the other one was done with the pink. This was in black and light green. And again, the double hooks. This was a custom order from me. Somebody wanted, and they wanted a specific ring, and it's going to have steampunk metal stuff here. But they kind of disappeared, never contacted me again. So I'm going to finish this collar because the design I had was really good. And you can see it's not lined on the back yet. The interesting thing about this collar is this is done with a micro suede. So I had to cut the strips individually, fold them, stitch them, then do the braid and stitch everything together. So this one took more work actually than the leather one did, because the leather, I do what's called a trick braid. So there's no knots, as you can see. I actually braid inside the leather strap. But when I'm mimicking leather with a micro suede, I really can't do that. And so, yeah, that's where we go. This is this is the stuff that I do. So, oh, crud. Just a second. All right. This is also kind of my intro video for, I plan on doing some more crafting live streams at some point. Yeah, and you guys get a full view of my Black Knight bridge security. None shall pass. Yeah, I love this shirt. My husband got me this one. But some of the fun things I like to play with when I'm making fancy stuff. I not only get vintage brooches like this one, but I also get, I'll buy newer ones, you know, just for fun. This one I don't know what I'm going to do with. I am not a poodle person. I don't know if anybody would be a poodle person. I suppose if somebody is into pet play where they, you know, go do dog or something like that for a collar, it's probably going to end up being a very specific one that'll sell someday. And that happens. I have things that eventually sell after years. And I know that, you know, when you're keeping things in your inventory or in your stock, they're not making you money sitting on the stock shelf. But when some of these things are very, very one-of-a-kind pieces, it's kind of hard. I had a one with a bumblebee in the center that I had done a big lace flower from, and then all leather. And I had made that one about 6 years ago, and it finally sold last year. And it was a gorgeous piece. And this is another vintage brooch. It's very big, but they end up sitting, once I've got them in the leather, this one is too big. So I may add this to a leather purse or something like that. I prefer them to be, not used to the camera yet, like this smaller one here, because this will fit on the neck just nicely. You can actually still bend your head and stuff like that, and this will not interfere even with the little decorative details. You will not feel this. Like this, the black brooch on this one is fairly substantially sized. But because of the way I do the leather beneath and everything, this is extremely comfortable. So those are things you got to keep in mind when you're doing necklaces and stuff with the brooches, is to mind the size. And if you do have something that's very big, you need to kind of pad with lace or something around it to make it comfortable on the neck. So, what I have got. Now, other people have done these beads, so this is not usual and unusual, and I just, you know, I just felt like kind of playing around tonight, so hey, why not? So we're going to do this as the base, and I'm going to see what other goodies I has. Probably not the best idea, but hey, we'll do it. Yeah, I got yeah, because these are going to end up kind of long. Probably not the best idea to do that with these. These are cheap anyway. These aren't my husband's. You did not hear me say that. Trim it a little bit. I abuse scissors, but you know what? This pair, I think, is like 20 years old, so they last a while. Oh shoot, did I have the E6000 here? Yeah, I'm so prepared for this. I mean, seriously, not prepared at all. What is this one? Okay. This person is very, very, very religious and very nice lady. And I decided to just make her something nice to let her have a, you know, kind of a better Christmas. Because sometimes I just do that. And sometimes it backfires on me. I had that happen kind of last year. Did not realize that the person was kind of not extremely nice, but they still wear my piece and they like it, and okay, you know, if it makes somebody happy, so be it. Where is my glue? How did I come this unprepared? Oh, doggone it. I thought I was going to have everything sitting here. Oh, never mind. Oh, my word. Glue. Glue right here. I normally use E6000. This one's from China. It's for bonding leather and fabric and stuff, and that's what I use when I'm working specifically with leather right now. I found out with E6000, one of the things you do not want to use E6000 with is fossils. Because I did a steampunk necklace with fossil, with an ammonite and watch parts and stuff, and I had made that one about 6 or 7 years ago. Very pretty piece, but now it's my personal piece because the E6000 caused the ammonite to just split apart. It's still glued in place, but it completely cracked apart. So, yeah, I've gone to doing this. This comes from China. And it takes a bit to get shipped here, and unfortunately this one is starting, because I've dipped into it so much, it's getting a hard ball in the center, but I've got about 4 more containers of this. It's become my go-to. Alright, and now normally what a lot of people will do, and this is kind of how you get started. Yeah, sorry, I have a little bit of a sore throat. Where's the end of my wire? Yeah, I'm so prepared for this. There it is. I found it. Come here. Get out of there. Alright. So, you just want to give yourself enough wire to play around with. Would help if I'd hit the cutter. Alright, so that can go back in there. Got wire. Now I also need to figure out what my base color for this is going to be. So, unfortunately, I bring my silk on camera here, but there is so much of it, and it's just all bunched up now because I had to clean off my desk to be able to get Comcast to come in and fix the router or fix the modem, and so everything was just a disaster. I had everything piled up here on the desk. Yeah, smart. And so I had to put it all in a box, and it made a mess. So I think I like this, because this is just, this may not glue down very well, but with all the other things I'm going to add in, it won't be too bad. But this is kind of cute, and this is not separate strips. This is how they dyed the fabric. So, very adorable. I love that. It might end up having a little bit of a fluffy caterpillar look to it. So our beads, the one is a little bit tarnished, but that's okay. I don't care. I like the look. So we've got a antique bronze of McRae and a metal one of Faith. I don't know if she does crosses or not, so I'm not going that direction. Alright, so I'm going to need those. Probably need this. Yes, I stole some of the chainmail tools. By the way, the thumbnail for this. What did I decide on the thumbnail? Now I can't remember. It was another project I did or something. I can't remember what it was. I was going to do big piece of our chainmail for the thumbnail, but it ended up being too big. Alright, so we want to make sure that we have kind of a loop to start with. And this is a smaller wire. And I'm not overly picky about making this a perfect loop. What I want to do though, you can tell I don't like these pliers. I never had to deal with this part. Just wrap it around enough. Well, it's going to take me a little bit to get, not used to the camera angle. It's going to take me a little bit to get the silk through this, maybe. But again, I just like to wrap it around a couple of times because that way that gives me a stronger loop. And I do this before I wrap it around the wooden base. And you can use straws for bases and stuff like that, however you want to do it. I have a tendency to grab these from Cub Foods Deli and stuff like that. I'm really bad. Bad girl. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Alright. Just wrap it around enough, and I like that it's angled here at the bottom because it's kind of causing it to go down a little bit. That's going to help save it. And you don't have to be fussy about the wrapping, and you don't have to be super fussy about the ends. Alright, a little bit of glue to maybe open this up. Okay. Just a second. I go through this a lot. I have some autoimmune disease going on, and because of the injuries I've had to my shoulders and dislocating my left arm and extensive nerve damage down the left, and then having rotator cuff injury on the right, I have very weak hands, and I go through episodes of pain trying to open things. So sorry about that. Okay, we're just going to let that sit there for a minute. Close this back up quick. This is how I tend to get really, really messy. And I enjoy getting messy. During my, I thought that was a string hanging there. It is a string. Hello, that was a string hanging on the cleavage. Anyway, during my honeymoon, we went sluice mining in Kentucky in the mountains. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun, and I was messier than all the kids that were there sluice mining. It was great. And the fun part of it is that it wasn't seeded, so you got what you got. And I got pottery shards and stuff like that. It was just an absolute blast. I guess I needed that open again. I'm going to take... Okay, one more thing I forgot I needed. Of course, let's see. Yeah. Thinking I was not. Let's see what I got in here. For rings. Probably need some accent beads anyway. These things are so freeform that it's sometimes hard to determine what you're going to do while you're at it. So yeah, that works. There's lots of browns in the leather, so why not? And I don't like those rings. Okay, I'm not going to go with the rings. I don't like to use polymer clay beads on some of these. They end up, if there's like rough edges on the polymer clay beads, like these flowers here, because they have too many little pointed parts for the petals, and that will tend to chip off easier. I mean, for earrings and stuff, that's fine. But speaking of earrings, oh, I have bought a pair of earrings. Huh. I did not realize I had bought a pair of earrings at the last craft sale I was at. Okay, mine now. Oh, it's because it came with a set. Oh, I'm going to pull that apart. See how easily I get distracted? I just take out the beads and I start getting really, really distracted. It's sad. I'm, you know, kind of like a magpie or something like that. It's shiny. I like shiny. Okay. Alright. So I actually need to put a little bit more wire here to be able to hang the dangles from. And the other thing I gotta think of, find the end of this beastie again. So this bead's going to be a little bit thicker. Some are thick, some are thin. It comes out however you decide to do it, you know? No big deal. Do that. That. Alright. Slip these on the loops. A lot easier if you do it this way, then you don't have to use jump rings, which have a less of a tendency to come apart. Which is why I did not want to do jump rings. There. So we have Faith and we have McRae together. Them on here. Just enough to anchor it down. That's not what I was going to do. Oh, Lord and Lady, what am I doing? I'll probably goof this up. Try to straighten that wire back out again. And I thought I had another one. There it is. Just want to play with the loose wire a little bit. Let's have some fun with it. That's not going to work, but that will, which is okay. That's what I want. Lock it in place. Again, I want the raw wires in there. I want this really, really rough look. Now, pull that through there. Oh, nope. Okay. That's got everything locked in. It just looks very, very rough. Nothing fancy, nothing professional looking. That will change. The fancy part anyway. Alright, now to flatten these down onto the chopstick. Alright. Now, a little bit more glue. I may have cut that silk piece a little short. We'll see. If I have, well then I'll have to cut some more silk. But there's going to also be lace on this and other things. So we will just play with the things. And the silk here is kind of fun because it's just so fuzzy. This piece is. That's why I grabbed it. I like the fuzzies. I have two fuzzies. One black and one white. And after I get done streaming today, I gotta go clean the cat box. Yay! Not. Least favorite job, especially since I am asthmatic with reactive airway disease. But when you have kittens, you got to do what you got to do for the kittens. Yeah, so it was a little short, but so far very interesting. But that's okay, because there is going to be other things done here. Alright. I thought I set out a thing of the cotton lace. Do I want to do that lace? No. Alright. This extra bag that I've been occasionally grabbing is my travel bag for sewing leather. I do get some downtime at work. I have a lot of cleaning and a lot of things to do with my patients, but I do get some sitting time in there, and so I bring sewing stuff with because the kids I work with are on life support, so I kind of have to be able to be awake all night, make sure they're breathing and that the machine is breathing and stuff like that. So I sew and I do beadwork and draw or whatever. This is hand-tatted cotton. I love these. Get so soft. They're just so much fun. Absolutely love them. Alright, I'm going to make a little bit of a mess again. Put that back on there. I'm going to start at the top where the wood kind of is exposed. And that little cut edge I'm going to glue down. Actually, let's cut that off because that just looks terrible. I don't like unfinished edges. It drives me nuts. Here we go. And you don't have to be super duper fancy with these either. So let's cut that short right there. A little bit more glue to anchor that down. Okay, and then on to the bottom, middle here, I think maybe. Let's do it like right at the bottom edge. You don't get the detail of the lace, but I want the softness and the texture change from the fuzzies. That piece I'll use for something else later. I save the tiniest leather scraps for like ears on some of my needle felt sculptures and stuff like that. So, I mean, I have bags of just little teensy scraps. That edge of lace will go for another bead easily. Alright. Squeak, 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 squeak. Sounds like a guinea pig. Okay. Of which I have two. So you can see the bead detail. You can see if I put it in front of the camera. The beads I added on there are just teensy amount of sparkle just hidden in all of this, which is what I like. I like to have things just hiding. So do I have any goodies in here that I may want to use? Probably not. Okay. So I'll put that there. I want to do one more maybe. Yeah, let's do one more. It's actually are attached. Sorry for the noise. These actually are attached with pretty good jump rings here. Not coming apart easy, which is nice. When dealing with jump rings, you want to make sure. I don't have a larger one here. But you can see it's, yeah, I have it open right now, but when you seal these, you want to always go side to side with your motion to close a jump ring up. You do not want to split them apart this way and then try to fold them back together. You always go side to side motion. We've dealt a lot with jump rings in this house. The joke is that they jump all over the place. And they do. So we'll seal that one back up. That's going to be kind of glued down anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Okay. And I don't want to use another fabric there. I like how that one looks. What else have we got? Crappy blue wire. I ended up with some really cruddy stuff that I bought at Walmart, kind of an emergency, and their wires they have are not good. Let's see, what do I want here? I want to do that. Oh, that'd be kind of pretty. Let's see. Not really. It's not turning my crank. Oh dear. Well, on another tool. don't know. And then all of a sudden I just run into this mental block. That just isn't right. Well, let's see. Which one of these wires is going to make me go, eh. So, I picked these up off of eBay. They're diamond cut aluminum. And I got 3 colors so far. I'm not going to use the black. I'm leaning towards the blue just because it's so sparkly. But the book is done with browns and pinks. But I've got the fuchsia here. The wire might be too heavy. This is a thinner one. I don't know. That one seems kind of interesting. Then, me and my box of junk. Oh, I forgot about that. I did. Oh, pretties. Yeah, pretties. We like the pretties. Alright, so I'm going to cut this. This is one of these cheap Bollywood bangles. I mean, really cheap. These things fall apart so fast. So I just have to find the join. It's in here. Alright. And I'm going to stick that in here. This doesn't wrap as nicely because this is a very hard-tempered wire that they did. And it's going to fight with me. That's not going to work. I can't bend it. Not like that. Let's try again. I don't know if I can get it around this. Here we go. And then drop everything. Yeah! Now, is that going to be too much? That's going to be too much. So, not going to deal with that extra pendant. Just going to deal with the wire. You can see it kind of bends a little bit at the bottom too, but that's okay. Cut that. What I'm basically doing is just creating textural differences here. And sparkly spots that give kind of a fun feel to it. Okay. And then I think to finish this one, there it is. A little bit more glue, not much. And the fun thing I like to do with these bookmarks in these books is I like to have them be different colors than the rest of the book or the rest of the fabrics that I use, just because it adds a little bit more interest, I think. It used to be that I was very depressed for a very long time, and I didn't play with colors that much. My artwork was all black and whites or very muted. And after I got divorced and kind of found myself, because I had never been alone and or anything before that point. I went from my parents to a marriage, and a long marriage actually. And so I think there was a lot of depression there that I didn't realize, and it was showing up in my artwork. But since then, and you know, I mean, I've gotten remarried and everything, and things are, Troy and I are just, we're happy, you know. There's stuff going on that makes life difficult, but we're happy. And he's my best friend and my love and my partner, and you know, it just, that's the way it is. But I've noticed in my artwork that everything is color. It's very bohemian, it's very gypsy, it's lots and lots of color. Even in my pencil works, if you've seen any of my stuff on Google+, lots and lots of bright color. And that's clearly reflecting the change in me. Okay, we are done with the glue. That has got to dry, but it's wet enough to work, or dry enough to be able to work. So yeah, it's just kind of a messy looking little thing. Some of these end up neater than others, but I wanted to play with the color and the texture details in this. I'm sorry, I can't hold my arm up very good. And then of course I've got the loop at the top. All we have to do at this point book back here. That's right, I was going to cut this shorter. I don't want this so long, but I want it enough that it is going to dangle and it's going to look kind of cool. And it's got to be able to go through all the pages, so I think right there. I'll save that. Said this is going to take a little bit of work, especially when my hands are not cooperating, to get this through here. There we go. All right. Right there. I'm going to try to thread another needle. Stitching through the silk kind of tends to fray it. Fold this in half. This is going to have some glue up at the top here too, because I'm going to do something else. So this isn't going to come apart. I said, I really, really dislike having things come apart. It's just a sign of really bad craftsmanship. Wrap that a few times. Wrap one more, leave a loop. I had that scrap of thread. I figured I might as well use it. Okay. Put the glue away too fast. I gotta make sure I get the rest of the book away from it. And this glue I'm going to use with something else too, so. Before it dries, digging through my stuff again here. I don't want one so fluffy this time. Oh, let's go with this one because that one is pretty. For anyone who's been following my Ultima 7 live streams, my game progress got lost, so we will be starting over eventually when I have time. I like that purple side better, actually. I don't know, it's hard to tell. That. Going to tie a knot. Slide it down to cover the string. Not that far. I'm just tying a knot. I really don't care at this point. Just like it does. That contrast of the other color in there. Make sure it's nice and tight. Cut out the little string. Probably could have cut that out to begin with. Okay. And I should have put some more glue in before I did that second half of the knot. Let's do that. Get that good and tight. A little bit more glue. Not going to waste that little bit of glue dug on it. I'm bad. I just put it on my hand. I don't care. Oh my gosh. I remember in elementary school, and not the paste, but, you know, my parents never bought me the paste because they thought that was just worthless. But the Elmer school glue, I'd be like in class putting the glue on my hand and letting it completely dry, and sometimes I would do like pinching off so it looked like, you know, I had like the skin pinched together, and leave it like that for a while, and then I would have fun peeling it off. It was so weird. Okay, so yeah, it just looks really rough, nothing fancy. Yeah, I kind of like it that way. It's just a lot of fun that way. And there's these different colors in the fabric. and extra strings hanging down and strings hanging up, and it's just all tied on there, and a little bit of that roughness compared to, well, I mean, really, I've got the rough edges and some of the burlap coming apart right here too, which isn't going to come apart any further, trust me. But, you know, and some of these laces are hand tatted and very, very old. But this looks nice and neat on the top, and then there is the contrast of just that dangly weird bookmark on the bottom. So yeah, and once I get the I don't remember what they were called, but once I get the pages in the book, then I will just do a quick video of it finished before I mail it off. But that's where we sit. Yeah, so hopefully anyone who watches this later, you've kind of enjoyed that. It really isn't a tutorial, really. There's not much to it. You just throw stuff together and come up with something that appeals to you. But yeah, chopsticks are invaluable. They're wonderful things. And you can get thinner ones, you can get thicker ones. You can use pieces of dowel, whatever you have handy. It's a great way for recycling fabrics, beads that, you know, you may have confiscated from earrings, wire. You know, even if you use the chopstick, chop off the end that had contact with the food and use the rest of it. You know, it's a fantastic way to recycle, and I really enjoy doing that sort of thing. So hopefully gave you guys some inspiration, some ideas on different things to make, mixing fabrics and leather and all sorts of things. So yeah, that's it. Have a fantastic night, everybody. I'm glad the stream was working. Remember, none shall pass. Blessed be everybody. Have a great night.